Broadcasting.
How you doing, Peter?
Hi, Luca. Well, everything is fine in the Corona time.
Hopefully. So, it's a pleasure to have you here at the European Wrestling Podcast. Of course, it's a new format. I used to do it just the audio. Now we do the live on Facebook to provide some entertainment to our fans that unfortunately cannot come to see our shows because a lot of show has been cancelled in Switzerland and I guess in Austria as well. And so let's do it live. So for everybody listen, if you have any question for Peter, go ahead and ask. You can also write it in Italian. I will translate it for him. And so thanks everybody for keep following the European Wrestling Podcast. As I said, my guest today is Peter White. He's a veteran from Austria. And so welcome to the show again. And I would like to ask you, before getting to wrestling itself, where did you grow up? How was your childhood? Just general life informations.
I was born in the end of the 70s, the last 7 days of 79. So I'm really old now. But I still look young, maybe.
Yeah, you do.
I can remember my dad was watching TV and he was switching through the channels, and then he stopped at Eurosport back then. I think 86 or 87. I was 6 or 7 years old or young. And then I can always remember that one moment I saw ravishing Rick Rude in front of me. He was not fighting somebody else. Yeah, he was just standing in the ring and talking something. He held a promo, and I thought to myself, wow, I have to be one of them, because these superstars were larger than life back then and were heroes for me. And I want to be one of them since then. So, and my brother, maybe it's also important, he is a professional bodybuilder, Thomas Burianic.
And for everybody out there that think that Peter is big, his brother is the double.
That's right.
He's the double of your size.
10 times. No, he was, he's 12 years older than me. Yeah? So as I was a child or a teenager, I always had this real life Hulk in front of me. So I was always motivated to be like he is, or to try it, yeah. And then in the age of 15 or 16, I have started my workout in his gym back then. And it was the first step into the right way for my wrestling career. Yeah. And then, to say that as well, I was 18. And I have found the very first wrestling school in Vienna, Austria. That was Wrestling School Austria, the name of the wrestling school. And I was there, and yes, it was the step into my dream of my life.
So, beside wrestling, were you more like, because like you said, your brother was into the bodybuilding world. When you grew up, like, you had both dream, like I may become a wrestler and a bodybuilder, or you only were focusing on pro wrestling more than bodybuilding as your brother?
No, I always was focusing on wrestling. No, I needed and still need bodybuilding to be a wrestler. And in my eyes, it is very important to train your body, to do a workout, to look in good shape, to be a pro wrestler. And back then it was more important, like today in my eyes, but I never want to be a bodybuilder. No, that's never in my mind.
Okay, so I would like to go like in the details about, when you start out wrestling. So how was the first day when you get into the training? Like when you show up the first time, how was it? The meeting with the trainer. Who was your trainer? If you had any memory left, because it was so many. What year did you start? Actually, it was 2000.
It was maybe June or July 1999,
Okay.
the first
Okay.
training. Yeah, the first match was in the beginning of 2000.
Okay.
But yeah, what should I say? I was there in the wrestling school for maybe 3 months, and then someone else in the gym of my brother, he was also a wrestler, but he was at Vienna Wrestling Club, and there were people like Michael Kovac, Chris Raber as well, Freddy Ban, Dirty Harry, the Mercenary, Franz Schlederer, and many else. I was there watching a show in the end of 1999, and I said to myself, wow, that is the Vienna version, the cheap version, but the good version of WWE Raw. Yeah. And I was hyped in that moment. And 1 week later, I was there to train. And it was, yes, it was my passion since the first hour I was there. All the trainers were so professional, and I knew I was here on the right place at the right time.
So, and sometime it happened, at least it happened to me, that the first couple of weeks I was like, why am I doing this? Like, because I had so much pain on my neck and my back, and I was really, I went from zero to training 4 times a week in Canada back in 2005. So it was
Okay.
pretty tough for me. So I was for you.
It was pretty tough, yeah. And the ring was much harder than the ring today. It was a boxing ring at the Vienna Wrestling Club, and it was more than tough. And I can remember it was at one night I did the side headlock, and I did it wrong. So he lifted me up and threw me back on the canvas. And
No,
yes,
wait a
it
second.
was,
Who gave you
yeah.
the wrong headlock?
I has made the wrong
Okay.
headlock. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was my fault. And Leon Martinez, he doesn't wrestle anymore, but he lifted me up and threw me on the floor. Yeah, and it was the hard way to learn, but that's the best way to learn in my eyes. But it was not an easy stuff, and it still isn't an easy stuff because we have new people every week. They want to try to be a wrestler, and at the first hour, they ask us if they can try the RKO from Randy Orton. No, you can't. Yeah, you have to do many other bumps and lessons the first weeks
Yeah,
and
of course.
months.
Yeah, I say of course, but it doesn't seem something that it's of course nowadays because
Yeah,
so many time I heard about people training not in a proper way, and that's the worst thing. Not only for the guys, but also for the business in general. So it's always very bad. And so let me check just something now because I forgot to
yeah. You have to do many other bumps
to
and lessons the
to
first
recheck
weeks and
myself
months.
on the live, okay? Just to make sure the audio.
It
Yeah.
works.
So for everybody out there watching the live, because it's live, if there's any problem with the audio or the video, just you let me know.
Okay.
Also and question and everything. So let's go on 2000 when you had, which is 20 years ago, when you had your first match. What's your memory of the very first match, and where, if you remember, when it was, where, against or working with who?
I can remember every single second. No, but I can remember it was at IWW, Independent Wrestling World. The promoter was Stefan Haupt. I don't know if you knew him or know him. It was in Hanover, Germany, and I was traveling with my partner back then, who was also training wrestling. We were traveling with my car. I paid everything, the fuel, the motel, everything. And I was working as a referee on the first day because it was a 2-day
Okay.
show, Friday and Saturday. And I was the ref in a match between Michael Kovac and I can't remember his opponent. I think it was Eric Schwarz, but I can't remember. And the next day it was my debut, my very first match 3-3. And I was in the team with the Southside Rockers, two young wrestlers from Vienna, against the POD, Power. I can't remember the name. Yeah, POD was the short name. But there was Patrick Schulz already in that team. Yeah, so he was the first ever opponent in my life, and he was the last opponent in front of coronavirus, because I fought against him on February 29th, 2020. Yeah, that's really funny.
20 years.
So he's still here. Yeah, 20 years later.
So, and were you happy with your match? Because, well, I mean, the first one, I guess it's more like, well, I had a match.
Well, I can tell you a funny thing. This is not the funny thing. I was very nervous. I just get the bumps and was hit by everyone. But there was Pfeiffer Rock. He was a partner of my team from the Southside Rockers, and he also wore a white short, yeah. And one of the opponents gave him a power bomb. And if you believe or not, I don't know if there is a video anywhere, but he was shitting in his pants in that very moment of the power bomb. Yeah, and everybody saw that in the white pants, white short. It was, yeah, a very funny thing I can remember in my very first match. But it wasn't me, so it is funny. Now, I was really nervous. I lost the match, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it is the dream of a pro wrestling life.
Well, but you know, sometimes crazy things happened, and
absolutely.
You know, when I think back about my first couple of matches, right now the first thing that comes to mind is that it probably was not everything, but like 8% of the match was probably wrong, or
okay.
Well, I don't want to say wrong, like. Technically, I was fine, because I've been training in Canada for 4 months. I just had zero knowledge in ring psychology. Like, we were just putting stuff together that make no sense, and that's another thing that I wanted to ask you. So, how was the process for you? Like, when did you realize that there was way much more to learn than what you may thought at the beginning?
I recognize it pretty fast, but I still think the same. Yeah, 20 years later, I know there is much to learn, like in life. Yeah, your experience is very important in life, in wrestling, and as you know, the same. There are hundreds of technical stuffs and moves you can do, and the physical stuff we had. You know, I have started in Vienna with different trainers, but then I was at Michael Kovac's school, I think 2002 or 2003. I can't remember anymore. I was starting with Michael Kovac, and he is still one of the best with his technical knowledge. Yeah. And I'm there every week, except now, but I'm there every week to learn something new. And he was very good to tell us all the physical things, yeah, you need to know in the ring, when you have to be where, and when it's important to get the heat or the comeback or whatever to build up the drama. Yeah, we also had Cannonball Grizzly as a trainer for a few months, many years ago, and he also told us you need the drama like in Rocky. And that's the best example for me. Look, Rocky, watch Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4. There's so much drama, and you can learn a lot of things out of the Rocky movies. Yeah, not only out of the matches from the whole movie.
I also always pick that movie when I have to explain stuff to my guys. The problem is they're younger and they probably didn't even see the movie. Yeah, but yeah, definitely Rocky is a masterpiece of storytelling, and I think if you can understand, like, ring psychology is really what makes wrestling what it is, or at least what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, a lot of people don't get it. So you said you realized that pretty fast that there's a lot of stuff to learn. But how was your approach? Like, if you watch yourself back, maybe, well, you're a big guy, for you maybe it was different, but for me as a what's it called, as a small guy, as a cruiserweight, I always thought about the moves. At the beginning I was not really interested in the storytelling, probably because I didn't even get it. But so there was anything else for you that you were like, you were focusing on something that was wrong, and then you realize, okay, I have to change it because it doesn't make any sense. Like, there was anything like this for you?
Well, my approach was to start from the very beginning. Back then in the school, at my first wrestling school, I can remember I was doing the arm drag for 3 months. If you believe or not, I was doing the arm drag for 3 months. Yeah. It didn't matter if you know how it works after 1 week or after 1 month. You have to do the shitty arm drag for 3 months, then you can do more. And that's the right way to learn. And I was focusing on a gimmick I will create in the future. So I had now I can say, dumb idea to start sexy Peter White. Yeah, I don't know. I was a heel back then, and it looks good, but if I could start it again, I would change it and would start like a John Cena, Peter White, yeah, like I'm doing it right now. But a gimmick is very important for me, and
why?
That was from the very beginning, it was very important for me, much more important as the technical stuff in the ring. Yeah, there are many other wrestlers who think the opposite thing. It's okay, but I think back in the 80s, 90s, maybe today as well, Great Khali, whoever, yeah, there are so many wrestlers who are just an attraction. But the people are coming to the event to see that attraction, yeah, and they will not come to a wrestling show to see somersaults and whatever, yeah. They want to see an attraction.
Yeah, you must be a star. Otherwise,
yeah.
if you're not something special, why should they buy a ticket? To see what? To see so.
Yes, but it's much more important to look like a star, or to look like an attraction, or to have 500 pounds, or to be larger than 2 meters, yeah, 2 meters 20. It's much more important to be the best technical wrestler ever. Think about Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson. These are all examples of perfect technical wrestlers, yeah, but they never had a championship belt, heavyweight championship belt. And others like, what's his name? Enzo Amore. He can't fight like a technical wrestler, but he has a gimmick, or he had a gimmick, and he had a great gimmick. Yeah, and he was the cruiserweight champion. And Neville, his opponent, was the best technical wrestler, but he wasn't the champion anymore, because gimmick is more, in my eyes.
Yes, and that's the way to go. But unfortunately, especially nowadays, I see a lot of guys that they all look the same, and you can't really tell who's a star, or like.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, it's getting flat, and it seems more like a circus than a pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And so another mistake, which is not your case, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. In my case, one of the biggest mistake I ever made was about the body. You know, because as a small guy, when I first started out wrestling, I thought, well, I'm going to be a cruiserweight anyway. I'm going to be a small guy anyway, so I don't really need to get big. I don't really need to, look like have any sides. And that was a pretty stupid thought, because, it doesn't really matter if okay, you are short, I'm short, but I need to look like an athlete. As a wrestler, you need to look like an athlete. You
That's
can't
right.
look like somebody in the crowd. You must look like something that, when people see you in the street, they go like, I don't know what it does, but it does something. And so that was my probably the biggest mistake. But I think, well, you always focus on the body, because especially because your brother was or still in the bodybuilding competition. But did you felt this around you? Like, did you felt like the small guys around you, they were like, well, size doesn't matter, things like that? Or like where you, when you were going working somewhere, that the people there, they were thinking this, people around you, wrestlers around you?
Very, very different. I can remember I was working in Switzerland, also 2003 or something, against Claudio Castagnoli at Cesaro. And there were many guys, amateurs, who had their first matches, second matches or something. And they were staring at me and focusing me, but in the positive way, So they were asking me how I eat, how I train. I gave them some advices, and it was a very positive thing. But I can also remember other wrestlers in Germany, in Austria, wherever, who say you're just a steroid guy who can't work in the ring. No, really, that's a reality. And yeah, but I don't say you just need heavyweights in the ring with a good body and large guys with a good body. Yeah, it's the mix that's very important. Yeah, I had the show at Power Slam last year in September, and it was a mix of everything. There was a cruiserweight match because I want to find a solution to make everyone happy in the audience. Yeah, and you can't do this with 5 matches and 10 heavyweight wrestlers over 300 pounds and over 2 meters. There are fans who want to see the cruiserweights. There are fans who want to see women. And you have to build up a mix, but you need the right person in the ring. Yeah, and that's the reason why I'm back. That's the point, back on the gimmick. Yeah, and like you are not large, you're not 2 meters, but you have a gimmick. And for me, it is important, if you are not a Tony Atlas or a Brock Lesnar, you have to be crazier as the normal guy who is in the audience.
Well, yeah, but anyway, at least a little bit of sides, like at
Yes,
least that when you go like this, I mean, it looks
right.
like, okay, maybe there's something. I mean, it's not as you, but I mean, it has to be some workout in there, because you need to look like an athlete. And
Yeah, and you don't have to look like a
yeah,
bodybuilder. Yeah, you don't have to forget that, because in the 80s there was too much of that. Yeah, you don't need to be. I always thought I have to get bigger and bigger because I want to get muscle like my brother, but I don't need that in the ring. I'm a pro wrestler. I'm not a bodybuilder. Remind that.
yeah, but like you said, the best combination is to have a little bit of everything. That's why when I make the booking for my show, I always book, a good, like somebody that is in the bodybuilding kind of kind of guy. I can
Yeah,
have a big guy like Dick Destroyer. I can have more cruiserweight guys, but uh, again, that looks good, but not as big as you and Drake. And also, yeah, I have a little bit and gimmicks and guys that looks less gimmick. But I personally like gimmicks a lot. That's why when I booked you for my show, I told you to please bring the jacket and the cigar, and because that was a little bit extra. That and
yeah.
I thought that would be cool for you to at least make the
It
entry.
was cool, but at the end I thought, is it a little crazy or weird that I'm a face and I smoke in front of the
Well,
kids?
but Arnold does it as well,
Yeah,
because
right.
that's basically your gimmick. In my eyes, you are Arnold Schwarzenegger in the wrestling business. Big. because you're from Austria, you have the same, well, you're big enough to be compared to. You have this kind of face that it's Arnold style. You have the accent, and with the cigar, the jacket is like, that kind. That's to me that was perfect. That was perfect. And also the way you move. That's something I was telling to the guys. When you work on your gimmick, everything's count, and also the entrance. And every single guy has to have, it needs his own entrance to be different. Like your entrance is perfect for you. I actually have the entrance here because we're talking about this. So let me switch the match. I can put the match you had here last May. Okay. You will see it a little bit late if you're watching on Facebook because there's a like 20 seconds delayed or something like that. So you did your entrance very slow. You took your time. You've been watching the crowd with the cigar like that. So that was perfect. And I was telling the guys, if you are like Peter, you should do that, and that's perfect for you. But it's not always working for everybody, because if somebody like even smaller than me is going out there like that, and is a younger guy, like, I don't know.
It looks stupid.
Yeah, it looks stupid. It looks legit for you because you are 20 years experience and you're the big guy, so you just take it easy. It's just another match,
Yeah, and that's the point. Experience. That's the most important point. I'm not nervous anymore. Yeah, and it's an ordinary thing. You were nervous at the first match. You're nervous at your 20th match, and so on. But how slower you act, the more people react. Yeah, in my eyes, in the entrance and in the end. And yeah, it's like a movie. You have to build the drama, you have to build the movie, and you have to wait for the reaction. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's a hell of a statement, and I agree 100%. And the thing you were saying about being not being scared to get into the ring, that's another thing I always ask to my guests at the European Wrestling Podcast. When did you get that confidence that you're not scared anymore? How long did it take to you to actually get to the point where you're no longer scared to step in the ring, but you're just able to fully enjoy the match, just go there, have the match, and just enjoy the moment?
Well, I don't do it only in wrestling business. Yeah, I worked a lot for over the last, I don't know, 7-8 years on my personality in real life, to be not stressed anymore, to be relaxed, that's my education. And I did it in wrestling as well. I can truly say that I have a button I can press anywhere on my body, in my mind, and then I'm really without stress. Yeah, I stand behind the curtain. There is the crowd, and I say, what could happen badly? Yeah, nothing. If you're too fast, if you're too stressful, the more bad things could happen. So, fuck it. I do it slowly. I enjoy the ride.
I'm watching right now the video of your entrance on Pro Wrestling Live Lugano 8. You can see it on your screen as well. And that's exactly what I was talking about. So you took your time, just easy, and it has to fit with the gimmick. Like, if you will do my entrance as a baby face, then I go out there, come on guys, come on. That will be stupid.
You need the fire.
Yeah, you need the fire, but it has to fit with the gimmick. You see what I'm saying? You can't have your gimmick, your size, your look, and go out there and being the baby face as I do in my own town. And the same thing as when I'm heel, I gotta act as in a way that it fit the gimmick. And I I was asking you when did you get this confidence? I mean, in these 20 years, how long did it take? I mean, you said you have this going on in your personal life as well, but like if you gotta say in these 20 years, how many years did it talk to you to get that confidence?
I can't say it. I don't know. Maybe it was with 27, so after 7 years, because that was the time I had the hardest injury in my wrestling career. It was my left elbow, and it was broken. Everything was damaged, and it took 1 year to get back into good shape, into ordinary workout, and into the ring as well. So my parents told me, please stop wrestling. It's not good for you and your body, your heels. But my heart said, do it. Come on, get back. And so I worked really hard for myself. And I also have learned that I have to do everything a little slower in my life, with more confidence, with more. I have to think about every step I'll make, in the next second or in the next minute, because then it maybe will not come to another accident, And that's a good ride for me since then, because I didn't have an accident since then, and I feel better and I have more confidence how slower I act. I can say it like that, yeah.
Good. Well, it took a while for me as well. It took me almost 10 years to really enjoy stepping in the ring. But yeah, like I was saying, once you get it, it's the greatest thing in the world, because you finally start to actually enjoy. Not it always was great to be in the ring, but you start to enjoy it more, and yeah, that's great. Another thing I wanted to ask you is about because you, beside being a wrestler, you also are a promoter. I mean, I don't know, because
let me just say one thing to the point before. I took it always personal if someone said you're not good in the ring, or you are not a technical wrestler, or you look shitty, or you look gay, or whatever, No, really heard that things, but it was always a hard hit for me, And you have to cut that off. You have to switch that off in your mind, because there are a lot of envy people who are, just envy for your success, or you look better, or you have your own promotion, or whatever, or you have your own podcast, I don't know. And you have to stay with people who are in a positive way, who are friendly to you and who are working with you in a good way, and shit on everyone else. I have learned that, and I feel better since I changed that way.
That's another good advice, and it's not just in wrestling, it's in life.
Right.
Just focus on the positive things, and if anybody wants to criticize to make it better, it's fine. If it's criticizing just for do it, then fuck you. Good.
That's the hard way, but yes, fuck you, right? Yeah.
So we were saying, so you also promoter, right? Because I think you are in the booking, or it's what's the name of the promotion?
Power Slam.
Okay. Because I know there's
and it is the first thing here right now, live, that I'm saying that I am the promoter.
I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Nobody knows that before. It's not an actor, it's a friend who plays the president of Power Slam, But the reality is I'm the president and I'm the booker, and I try to start a new thing and making a drama for a night, and everyone is enjoying it.
Awesome. And so what's your experience as a promoter? I mean, what did you learn? How long has been now that you do it? And how is it for you? Because for me, it was pretty tough. And I guess...
Absolutely, absolutely. I had my first ever promoted show March 15, I'm sorry, 2003. Yes, 2003. I did it with my former tag team partner Slash Power. We have that Riot Gas Wrestling Alliance. Don't ask the name. Yeah. It was RWA, a stupid idea, but we had good shows, and we had shows till 2009, I think 18 shows. But I was also part of the team who was promoting for the first 4 shows, maybe. Then he was doing it alone. He was better than me, respect. But it was a hard work. You need a lot of money, you need a lot of time, and you need a lot of other wrestlers, because not only 1, 2, or 3 wrestlers more are injured or don't have time, or the flight is not coming or whatever. Yeah, you know the problems. But it is a great experience to do an own show and to play with the audience. What is working not, what's good, what bad, and what you can do better the next time.
To me, it was it was a pretty hard experience to learn how to do it right. Especially because in the beginning you just, okay, let's have a wrestling show and just putting together a, something, and let's see how it's going. But again, as a wrestler, but also as a promoter, there's a lot of stuff you need to learn, and if you don't, you will lose a lot of money. So you need to do the stuff right, and everything for everybody out there that wants to learn how to be a wrestling promoter. Always remember that every single thing matter. So the card matter, who's going over matter, the order of the matches matter, the location matter, the day, the hour, everything you do matter. And if you do it right, you sold out and you'll be happy. If you do something wrong, it's not gonna work. So it's important, but there is no school out there for this, and the only way you can learn it is just do it and see what it works, what it doesn't work, and maybe ask some veteran to have some advice. And did you add somebody that could teach you, like some, maybe Chris, Bambi Killer, or
Bambi Killer? He's the most experienced guy here in Austria with talking about promoting, yeah. But no, I didn't talk to him. I had his ring, yeah. And he's a pretty cool guy. He was at the show as well, watching it. And I want to work with him together the next time, yeah, but that's another story. It is important to talk to other veterans for your own promotion or for the next show, but the same, a lot of things has changed the last years, because back then, I don't know, 10 years ago, 5 years ago maybe, you just need some posters and some flyers. But now it is much more important to be focused on Facebook, on Instagram, on Google, yeah, posters as well. But social media is much more important to promote your own show. And I did this for Power Slam and it worked. So you have to change your merchandising, you have to change your marketing and your online marketing as well every, 2-3 years.
Yeah, that's something absolutely important to do. And to me personally, as I said, also talking to some veteran, even when I went to the States, I had a chance to meet some guys that has been around for many years, and it's always great to ask for advice. And as I said, WWE is another thing, because WWE is TV. That's the biggest problem, I think, when it comes about promoters around the world. They watch TV, they watch WWE, and they think they can do the same at their show. But indie wrestling and WWE is two complete different things.
Absolutely.
First of all, WWE is not wrestling. WWE is WWE. It's an entire different world, and you cannot even when you want to learn how to wrestle. Yeah, there's a lot of good matches on WWE, but if you watch Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, you're not really learn anything in the first part of your career because they're working TV. They're not working the crowd. Also when everybody know the guys, they don't need to establish themselves with the crowd. So you can learn how to work TV, watching WWE. How to work with the camera and how to fit into the segments and the commercial and everything. But when it comes about the basic wrestling learning as a wrestler and as a promoter, you need to watch old school stuff and or just indie stuff, how the other guys work the crowd and how the other guys put the card together, and who's gonna do the opening match, who's gonna do the main event, and you gotta be smart. Like last show I had, there was the title match, but I didn't put the title match in the main event. I put it also because it was a Rumble in the main event, but I put it right after the break, so I had the fans fresh from the break. Because otherwise they will be too tired to actually be ready for a title match. So I gave them 3 matches. I had a break, and then I gave them the title match, and so they were ready because they were just fresh out of the break, had something to eat, had a beer, ready to go, boom. And all these things matter, and but it takes time to learn those stuff. So
every little point matters, but it's a different. Your audience after I don't know how many shows you did.
9.
9.
In
okay.
Lugano, 9.
So so I think your audience, what they want to see, what they don't want to see, and it is very different to the fans here in Vienna, maybe in Austria or in Chicago, I don't know. But as you said before, WWE is wrestling as well, but it's just entertainment, and the people are rock stars, in my eyes, because they are in the TV every week. And I saw them in Vienna last November 2019. It was okay, but they don't need to have hard and long matches because they are rock stars. They just have to come out and do this, and everyone make wow, yay, and we have to whip our asses.
Exactly, because
they don't know you.
Exactly, because people pay the ticket to see the stars, no matter what they do in the ring. In our case, they pay to see wrestling, so we have we got a wrestler because they don't know us. So we need to establish ourselves first, and then get the crowd behind you if you're a babyface, or get a heat if you're a heel. So we are almost done because I would like to keep it in 1 hour. This is the format of the European Wrestling Podcast. I have a couple of questions again, and then we will finish with some crazy stories. That's my favorite part. I had one with what's it called? Mark, the Ring of Europe promoter. You know him?
Yeah.
He told the story. He was my guest several episodes ago, and he was telling the story about him crashing the what's it called? Crashing the truck with the ring of Kovac in his play.
I didn't know that.
Well, he said he was unloading the truck or something, and I think he just forgot to pull the brake. And when he stepped out of the truck, the truck itself just started to just go down the ramp, and he just completely destroyed everything there. And he called Kovac and he said, come here, I fucked up everything. And so he came down, and of course he was laughing. So you can hear the story on the episode with Mark. What's the last name? Landauer.
Landauer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's available on my YouTube channel, ᴘᴇᴛᴇ Belthazar, as any other European wrestling podcast episodes. So let's keep going for the last couple of questions here. Another thing is, I can ask you, when it comes about WWE, I think somehow everybody has a dream to get up there,
To be in WWE.
to be in WWE. I want to ask you about that. If you had that dream, when and how things work out, in a sense, like when you realize, okay, I can try it, or maybe I can't, and all this, everything that it comes about WWE. Because, for example, for me, just to give you an example, what I'm talking about, as a kid, WWE was something so far away that for me was absolutely impossible to become. I thought I will never even see a live event in my life. Because there was no wrestling around here. So I thought it was absolutely impossible to become a wrestler. And I had that in the back of my mind for many years. Even when I actually went to Canada and started wrestling, I always put myself like in a way that okay, I'm here, I'm doing this, but there's no way I'm gonna make it. And all this process, all this thing that I had as a kid, I had to carry this through my career. And when I finally realized that maybe I could make it, it was too late. So I was for you.
Let me tell you something. As a child, it was the impossible dream as well to be one of the WWF back then superstars, WWE. Now it is closer with NXT and WWE Germany and everything, yeah, or UK. Yes, it was a dream. I was there 2004 in Texas. I was working there for High Impact Wrestling, just a small promotion in Houston, Texas and Santa Fe. I was working with Mark Mathis, who was in the second season of Tough Enough. And he told me things that it wasn't that good in WWE, working with also he worked with Triple H back then. And he told me things that you were just a puppet in their hands. Yeah, you have no idea what they do with you, and if you say no, I don't like that, okay, then go away. You're fired, and someone else takes your spot. Yeah. I also talked a lot about that with Chris Raba, Bambi Killer. He was also in WWE. I can't remember the year, but yeah. It was his choice, not WWE's. It was his choice to be back in Austria because he has a better life here. And that's the thing. It is an unbelievable great thing to be in WWE. Yes, I think so. But it is very hard and maybe not so good to stay in WWE because you never know what they want to do with you. And there are many, many examples who say, it was the hell on earth. That's what I think about that. I'm happy at the situation right now. I'm happy to work in Austria, Switzerland, Italy, Germany, Hungary, maybe again. That's a good life. I always want to be a wrestler, and I am a wrestler. I also have my fitness, working in studio, and yeah, everything is pretty cool.
Fine.
I don't regret anything. That's what I want to say.
That's good. Well, but yeah, as you said, now with NXT, is everything, things change, especially for us in Europe, because it seems a little bit less far away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because also you can even be under contract with NXT, but still live in your country and just go in UK. I don't know how many times a month, but at the beginning
I don't know.
maybe several times. I don't know. I should ask Oliver about that, but
But at the same time, or on the other hand, like the promotions in Austria, EWA from Michael Kovac, yeah. Back then, 2003 maybe, we had 100 people in the audience, or 120 or something, yeah. Today, as you can see here on your channel, Praterketchen EWA in Vienna, we had 500 each day, yeah, in the 2-day show. But that's also much bigger than 20 years ago. Yeah, not only WWE getting closer, this is also getting better and better.
That's good. That's good. So another thing I would like to ask you is, there's okay. I'm trying to put this in the most polite way, not to to make people. Well, actually, I don't care if they get pissed. Fuck them all.
Right, that's the right. Yeah.
What do you think about this new style of wrestling where people just zero psychology, zero storytelling, just fucking around in the ring and just completely shit it all over pro wrestling, like zero respect.
You have said it.
Zero respect.
You have said it before. Circus. Yeah, it is circus and it's not wrestling anymore. I don't care what people are thinking about me after that sentence, but I don't like Ricochet. Why? Because he's an athlete in the circus and not a wrestler. That's my, I think about that, yeah.
Well, he's also fitting what they need him to do. So I guess he can probably work other styles as well. But if that's
maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
If he's, because I mean he's a great athlete, obviously, and I met some of those guys, and I think most of them, they can work right if they want, but for whatever reason they don't. Or just like when it comes about NXT, if they get the ask to, like if Vince McMahon come to you and he goes like, or Triple H comes to you and goes like, okay, you need to do these flips and that's it. So it's your job, you have a contract, you gotta do what they tell you to do.
Yeah.
But I think as far NXT has changed a lot, like they do way much more flips and stuff like that. They still professional. I mean, they still look like athletes. They still look legit. They have not much storytelling going on, but it's still a good product, I think. It's still okay. I'm more wondering when it comes about indie wrestling, where you see guys out of shape. They don't look like a star. They don't look like an athlete. They are not athlete because they go out of breath by running from rope to rope, and they have zero knowledge. Like I did in the first year of my career, but at least I had, I knew that I was wrong, and I fixed myself by going back in Canada and going to the United States to the Team 3D Academy. But it seems like many guys, they don't wanna get any better. They don't want to learn anything. I don't know if you feel in the same way.
Yeah, because learning is the hard way. It's easy to step in the ring and do some shit you have seen on the TV. That's what I said before. There are new students who want to try the RKO in the first hour. Yeah, what a shit. Yeah, you have to learn some falls and some bumps, and then you can do the rest. But these people are there in the school for 1, 2, 3 hours and then never seen again. Yeah, it's the truth. What you have said before, I can remember 2011, I was in France many times for wrestling stars, Flash Gordon. It was a really great experience, yeah. I had good matches, great opponents, thousands of people in the audience, but there was one problem. He told me how I get to the ring, yeah. What's my next footstep, yeah. And that's, I think, like in WWE, you are not Belthazar anymore. You are, I don't know, Franz Huber, as they like, yeah. You have no decision anymore, and that doesn't make fun. And then, now I come back to the Chris Rubber Bambi Killer, because you want to live your life as a pro wrestler, but then it's work, and it's not fun anymore. And that's the first thing you see. I don't want to do that anymore. And it is very important in the end of the day to look into the mirror and say, that was cool. Yeah, that was the thing I want to do. That's the most important thing.
Okay, and we're almost done, and so we're gonna finish up this episode of the European Wrestling Podcast with some crazy stories. So meanwhile you are thinking something, I'm giving out again some information. The European Wrestling Podcast is available on my YouTube channel, ᴘᴇᴛᴇʀ Belthazar, also on my website, belthazar.com. The video you have seen in the background was P-Wide against Corleone at the Pro Wrestling Live Events 8, which is you can find all the matches on prowrestling.ch. The other match I took it from YouTube, so I thank EWA Austria.
It is Prater Kitchen 2018 in the main event against Demolition Davies. Yeah.
Okay, so if you need to find that match, you can find it at what's the name? I got it right here. Is the European Wrestling Association?
Yeah, it is Prater. It's a German thing. Yeah,
German,
Prater Kitchen for wrestling in Austria.
I just took one that just to have something different going on in the background. And so let's finish up the podcast. I would like to thank also everybody that has been watching this live on Facebook. And so let's finish up the podcast with a crazy story that on you. I mean, 20 years. You must have like 20,000 stories.
50,000 because Michael Kovac is my trainer. But I can't tell you one of them because no, I can't tell them. I told you a funny story in the beginning of that podcast with the shitty guy and his short. Yeah. Well, all I can see is I was starting 2000 in Vienna at the Vienna Wrestling Club, and there was Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry had maybe 140 kilograms, not in shape, huge belly, full of tattoos, and we had around 50 or 70 people in the audience. He had the first or second match always, and then after his match, he was going under the shower. And then were the other matches, and between the matches, in the middle of the show, he was coming out of the shower, naked, in the middle of the audience. Yeah, and everyone was shocked at the first, at the second, at the third show, but yeah, it was an ordinary thing then. At the fourth and fifth and sixth show, it was naked, Dirty Harry. The guy was, I don't know, 45 or something. Yeah, he was huge, and yeah, that was really weird for me in my first weird 6 months in wrestling business. But I'm still there.
I also have a crazy story, and of course, no, this is not really crazy. I won't call it crazy. It's just funny, and
but it's with Kovac.
No, it's with you actually. But
okay,
yeah,
with me.
Well,
okay.
It's funny. It's funny if you're a worker. If you're just a fan, I don't know if you can really enjoy it. But I remember we had the Rumble in Bern. I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago. Which
I don't know.
I think it was
I don't know.
Well, something happened both Rumble. The first one we had, I think 2 years ago. We were in the ring, and then at some point you came up to me, and you were like, "Are you next?" You were
right.
asking me in German, like, "You bist du next? Bist du next?" And I was like, "No."
Really?
Yeah, you were talking to me in German.
Okay.
And I was no.
I wasn't my gimmick.
And I was no. Then boom, boom, bam, boom, 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 bam. Then you came back to me again. Are you next? Are you next? I said, "No, I'm not next," because I
can remember you bite me back then.
Yeah, but
right?
that
in
was
the back
later.
anymore?
So
yeah.
for
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
reason, you always came back to me and asked me, "Are you next? Are you next? Are you next? Are you next?" And at some point, I think you just thought, "Well, fuck it, I'm throw you out." And so I was at the ropes, and you charge a clothesline to throw me out, shoot me out. I think
Okay.
because in your mind I
Can't
was
remember.
going to be the next.
Yeah.
So you came out to me, and it just legitimately dug the line, and you
Yeah. The
almost
rope.
fall down, but I had to save you because you were supposed to be, I think, the last one or something. So I should duck your thing, and then I just save you back again, and then we had something going on in the on the corner, and yeah, that was the first rumble we had. The second one, something.
It was the same rumble. Michael Kovac tried to put me out of the ring, but I keep holding on the upper rope. And in that very moment, he, yeah, put his finger into my peep. Yeah. There's a photo on SWE.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right, because in that very rumble, I was supposed to have something going on with what's it called, the farmer guy, Farmer Joe.
Yeah,
So I
Famacho, yeah.
was in the ring waiting for Farmer Joe, and when Farmer Joe came out, Kovac was going out, and he just fucking like he just punched the guy. And so the guy who was supposed to do something with me, it was just dying on the
Okay.
floor. It was dead on the
Okay,
entrance.
can't
And it
remember.
was like, okay. And it was me, Sasha, which he was there with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Helvetic
Helvetic.
Warrior. I don't know his
Yeah, yeah.
gimmick back then.
Too much
Yeah,
going on.
many.
And
Yeah.
somebody, and I think this, and Drake. I know, maybe Drake or
Drake
no,
was the
and or
winner.
me
Yeah.
and you. Yeah, it was me, you, and Sasha. And so, because I was a small guy with two big guys, how the fuck am I gonna survive with two big guys waiting for the other asshole to come in?
You're a fucking vampire.
Well, what I did is just kicking you both in the balls because I had to make it believable that I was surviving until finally poor Farmer Joe came in, that we had something going on, and then everything happened. That was the first one. Uh, the second one, yeah, and the second one, I was supposed to do something with, I think, I had to do a crossbody over somebody. On you. Yeah. So I was supposed to do come in, crossbody on you, and then right after that I had to drop kick somebody. And I told you,
Okay.
make sure to get the fuck out away from the middle of the ring, because I'm gonna do the
Yeah.
standing backflip.
From the top
No,
rope,
I
right?
did the crossbody on you, and I was
Yeah, but then you did your moonsault also,
well,
or is it
no,
wrong?
it's a moonsault, but it's not. It's like when I do the drop kick, I flip over.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
okay.
and I
I mean
told you.
something different, but it's
So
okay. Yeah.
I give you the crossbody. You move out, so
Yeah.
you give me some space, so I gonna get the drop kick to somebody. But of course,
Yeah.
you didn't move. So once I step up and I gave somebody else a drop kick, I land right on your knee. Because you were there. I don't know if you can go back and see the video. You were like landing on the ring, in the middle of the ring, and then just land on your knee, and you were like, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck!"
I just saw
Yeah,
it.
you were dying because it was so
No,
hard on
no.
me. I was scared. I thought I just fucking broke his leg. I fucked up Peter White.
No, I'm the fucking Terminator. You can't kill me.
Of course. But beside that, everything was fine. And to close the podcast today, just wanna thank you not just for the podcast, but also for every time we had a chance to work together in Bern. Was always great and fun. And even if you have 20 years of experience, I've seen you talking with my guys. The guy that I trained that are really new, but you always ready listening, giving advice and everything. And that was super cool. And also, as a promoter, it was fun to have you around at my show. you gave some advice again. You gave some confidence. Just have you very relaxed in the backstage was also helping everybody to just realize it's just resting, and most of the time, like I said that in the briefing, if I book you, if you are here today, is because you can work. Otherwise, I won't book you. So everybody.
But I also always try to be not an asshole backstage, because I'm a veteran. There are many veterans who think they're better as the first timers, or just 5 matches, you're nothing in my eyes. No, I don't play the nice guy. I am a nice guy. I act like Rocky Balboa. He's always my idol, and I think I'm not better as anyone else backstage. Doesn't matter how many matches you have already.
And that's why I like you so much, because like I said, 20 years of experience, but you always open to speak and teach and help everybody. And we need a lot of people like that in pro wrestling. So if you would like to give everybody out how to find you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, your website, any information, please go ahead.
Well, just go to www.com, Peter White. No. It's just Facebook, Pro Wrestler Peter White, Instagram, Pro Wrestler Peter White. Since today, TikTok, Pro Wrestler Peter White. And I forgot one thing. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah. Peter White, Pro Wrestler. Yeah. That's all.
Oh,
nice to meet you.
Okay. So for everybody out there, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. Again, please share the podcast with the hashtag European Wrestling Podcast. It will be available on YouTube as well. So thank you everybody for listening.
And there's one thing I just want to say in the end. After all this coronavirus shit, hopefully in a few weeks, I would probably start our own wrestling school here in Vienna, and it would be cool if I could invite you for a seminar or something. So maybe you accept and we have a good afternoon.
Good, that would be my pleasure. Thank you very much for thinking about me. And about that, for everybody out there, please stay safe and follow your government instruction. This is not a joke. I've been saying this since 2 months. You know it because we have been talking about that. And so now it's no longer time to joke and fucking around. This is a serious thing, so please everybody stay safe, take care of yourself and your family.
Absolutely.
And watch some wrestling and watch some podcasts. You have a lot of time right now, so no excuse. Thank you everybody for watching.
And work on yourself. Thank you, Luca.
Bye-bye.
European Wrestling Podcast.
I'm ᴘᴇᴛᴇ, and you can follow me on Twitter at @Luca_Rusconi. You can also follow me on Facebook on my profile ᴘᴇᴛᴇ or my page, which is Belthazar Pro Wrestling. I'm also on Instagram, of course, and it's always ᴘᴇᴛᴇ. And all the episodes are gonna be online on YouTube and also available on my website, which is belthazar.com. And of course, if you are gonna share this episode, please use the hashtag European Wrestling Podcast. As well, if you have any question, again, hashtag European Wrestling Podcast. Thanks everybody again. I'll see you next week.